Hello and welcome back to our Halo 5 review discussion. I'm Dan Stapleton and this is Ryan McCaffrey.
Hi.
And that's Miranda Sanchez.
Hello.
And this over here is our reviewer, Brian Albert.
Hey, everyone.
And so at this point, we're taking the spoiler gloves off. So be warned if you haven't finished Halo 5 or...
Turn back now.
Yeah, or if you don't care,
Yeah, you can hang out.
you can hang out and hear us talk about it. Because this is something that I think pretty much universally disappointed all three of you, which is the story and characters of Halo 5. Brian, why don't you summarize the issues you had?
For me, I actually like... There's a few weird logical leaps in the story that 343 expects you to be okay with that I wasn't. But I liked the main story. I just did not care about the characters in it because they didn't seem to care about anything that we're doing. Also, it relies on you knowing who Blue Team is. And they're from the books. They're from the new animated Fall of Reach series.
And they had that Blue Man group.
Yeah, exactly, those people. But then even that doesn't fix it. Like, I knew who Blue Team was because I'm this huge Halo fan who explores the universe, but knowing that almost made it worse because they didn't use Blue Team in the story at all. So these characters I love and know about didn't get any time. It was odd. The ratio of Locke and Osiris to Master Chief is like 80-20, which I...
No, it's not like it is 80-20.
And I actually wouldn't mind that if Locke and Osiris were really interesting. I love Chief, but if they were doing great stuff, that's awesome. But as it stands, it just didn't feel good.
Yeah, you said in the review that Locke felt like he just didn't have a passion for what he was doing. He was just following orders.
Yeah, that's like the military protagonist problem. Like, I don't want anything for myself. I just want to do what that guy told me to do.
So, which, to be fair, is kind of what Master Chief was like in the early games, but they spent all this time building him up, and then he's on the sidelines while you're playing as kind of a blank slate again.
He eventually earns some agency and like puts a bunch of faith in this AI who he's at first really shaky about, especially in the expanded fiction, and like that's cool. But like Locke. Like, are they going to take 4 games to make him what Chief is now?
And Miranda, what was your take?
I just like the same thing. Like, yeah, Chief was exactly like that, but now we know and love him, and then you take him away and you give us this boring dude. It's like, you didn't have to do that. You could have made him interesting. Like, there are some, like, this is the problem. There's a lot of things that were interesting that they never expand upon. Like, this game needed at least 4 more hours, and that's a lot. But, like, maybe at least that, so then I could care about the characters. Like, there were interesting things about Team Osiris, about all of them. But they just never fleshed them out. At least everybody else, aside from Locke and Team Osiris, got some cool banter going on during just like walking through the game. Like, oh, I kind of get a feel for you more. That's kind of cool. I get to know you guys just a little bit. But they just don't really do that for Locke. And since you're playing as him and not the Chief, you're just like, well.
There's a few really great moments where, like one of the Osiris Spartans, Vale, learned to speak the Elite's language, Sangheili, and like when you're dealing with the elites later, you see like the Arbiter's war on the elite home planet, like her ability to speak that language comes in handy or whatever. Like, they're just neat little ways. It's not the main story, but it's like a cool thing that makes me believe that character actually has like something I should care about.
And Ryan, what are your feelings on it? And please watch your language. It's a family.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are touching on it, but it's Blue Team. I kept waiting the entire game. So most Halo fans just play the games.
Yeah.
I would venture to say I think it's pretty reasonable for me to say, without hardcore statistics, that most Halo fans, and there are millions of them, have only ever played the games. They know Halo through the games, and the games have the mainline Halo games have always led everyone to believe that Master Chief is the last Spartan. He's it. He's the savior. So even when we left him at the end of Halo 4, spoiler again, he's standing there looking longingly into space, standing next to Lasky, just missing Cortana, and he's just back on Infinity by himself. And then when Halo 5 starts, there are 3 other Spartans. We have no idea who they are, where they came from, and they all seem to know each other. And yes, I read The Fall of Reach, and it's a fantastic... It's not War and Peace, but it's a great Halo story.
Yeah.
And it does make Fred, Linda, and Kelly really cool. But like, Linda is this amazing sniper. She's a marksman, and but you never and she in the first mission mission 2 with Blue Team, she's carrying a sniper rifle, but the game never conveys anything of that's her thing. She's like an awesome sniper. You're just never given anything about Blue Team until there's literally one exchange of dialogue in the entire game, and it's on the space elevator mission where you're Fire Team Osiris, and one of them, I forget which, asks Locke, so why why does Blue Team, why do they follow around Chief? You know, this guy is off doing his own, you know, running renegade
He's
here.
AWOL, yeah.
Yeah.
Why are they following him? And so and Bucker, I think one of them says, well, they trained together, they grew up together, they ran the most combat missions of anybody together. And then someone else says, oh, so they're like family. Yeah. That's it. That's all you get on Blue Team for the entire game. And then with Osiris, we get a couple of hints here and there about Locke's interesting past. You know, there's one point where, I mean, we're spoilers, so
Yeah.
Cortana's like, oh, I know about you, Mr. Oni guy. Like, wait, Locke was with Oni? Tell me more. And the game's like, nah, I'm going to move on to the next thing.
Yeah, they talk about that a few times, like with the Arbiter too. Like he voted to assassinate the Arbiter.
Yes.
He was going to do that.
He was going to do it.
And then, nope. And there's like this really interesting exchange between Locke and Buck about going after Chief. Like, everyone's going to hate us. He's like, yeah, I know, but you're not the only one who's here because of the Chief. It's like, what does that mean? Where did that come from? Like, tell me more.
The other thing that bugged me is similar to the, like, saying an interesting line and then leave it alone. So, Cortana is the villain. You find her on this Forerunner planet, and you're like, you were rampant. Like, you were dying. This was like AI death. She's like, oh, I found this place, and it cured me. And you're like,
I'm good.
Now, what would be interesting is, like, if she's lying there and doesn't say more to try to hide it from you, that'd be cool, but that's not explored.
Yeah.
And they just kind of leave you like, oh, I guess it's like the fountain of life for AI, and she's cured.
So, but there was one character that you guys liked.
Exuberant! I loved her. So you meet a new monitor. She's a monitor of the Forerunner planet, and she's fantastic and sassy, and the best written character of this game.
I think it's like the third or fourth monitor we've met now. We met 343. We met Penitent Tangent or whatever. But anyway, she's great. She's funny. She kind of helps you defeat Cortana. She's like, this is my installation. I'm going to take it over. She's just really good and clever and enjoyable to have around. But the way that she's introduced in the game is you're just like walking along and she pops up and she's like, hey.
Hello! It's like,
I'm exuberant.
where were you this entire game?
Yeah, like there are hints of amazing things happening that don't get enough time.
And the end, too. I mean, the game, there isn't much of an ending. It's just kind of like, tune in next week for Halo 6.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll just figure out what the hell all this is.
Kind of that Halo 2 cliffhanger.
Well, yeah, and I mean, granted, Halo 2 was worse in that ending, and specifically with the ending, because it was like obvious and confirmed later to be true that the game was supposed to have another level to finish the game, and it just cuts off and stops abruptly. This Halo 5 does end, but it's just kind of like, okay, well, now we'll just go do this next thing in 3 years when Halo 6 comes out.
The one thing I do like is that even though Cortana is like going crazy and doing something that most people would agree is bad, it's sort of like the way that the Empire is bad in Star Wars, in which, like, yeah, you're doing awful things, but like you're also keeping peace galaxy-wide. Even if it is with an iron fist, you're still kind of serving something good. And like Cortana's motives are kind of like that, whereas the Covenants were like, we're gonna blow up the entire universe with these rings.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a good solution an AI would think is appropriate, where it's like the numbers make sense, but she doesn't quite have the humanity to get what she's doing. So like, there's something there that makes me like appreciate that.
Also, I kind of like evil Cortana. She's funny, and I just wish they told us like why she's evil. Like, because she cured her rampancy, like why is she bad now? Like, is it because she stayed like with her rampant mind, or is it like what? Why?
Another unexplored thing.
Yeah. One of those things.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for going over that with us, and for much more on Halo 5, stick with IGN.